Lego is the most widely produced toy brand in the world. More than $40 billion is at stake in its annual production of billions of bricks. After the death of his wife, a carpenter was responsible for raising his four sons. He made wooden toys in his workshop until it burned down for the third time, which was how he made ends meet. So how does this all happen? How did a single dad struggling to feed his children make one of the best-known toy companies in the world? In this video, we will look at the humble beginnings of the Lego. Ole Kurt Christensen, a famous Danish novelist, was born in the city of Vilskov in 1891. He graduated high school despite being one of 13 children and hailing from a poor background. He eventually picked up woodworking skills from his elder sibling, Christian. He had been working as a carpenter for a while, and he found himself immediately drawn to the field. He finally had enough money saved up to launch his own company in Billund. Not long after that, he met the one and only Kirsten Sorensen. A new life as husband and wife started off on a joyful note. During the years that followed, they welcomed 3 kids into the family and laid the groundwork for the future of their businesses. They were unable to take advantage of the opportunity, though, since it was snatched from them. While playing with fire, Ole's boy started a fire in a mound of wood chips. The family's house and the garage or workshop both burned down. Nobody was seriously injured, thank goodness. They renovated the carport and had a 4th child. Tragically, many years later, the same thing happened again. Following the onset of the Great Depression, Ole was forced to close his firm. Christine had perished that year. Ole, who had just lost his wife and had no means of supporting himself, was left to raise his 4 boys on his own. Not until he found a use for his scrap wood did his fortunes begin to turn. But first, he would have to take a huge risk and maybe lose everything. Ole used some of his scrap wood to make some new toys for his kids one day. He had a brilliant new business concept after seeing the joy it brought to others. As a result of the Great Depression, many people were in need of low-cost entertainment. It didn't take long for Ole and his son Godfred to go to work. They crafted toys, automobiles, and zoo animals out of wood. Even though Ole had found his calling and his toys were selling well, it wasn't enough to keep the company going. Even bankruptcy couldn't save it. Ole's brothers and sisters could not remain silent. They were willing to assist, but only if they stopped producing toys and got actual jobs. As for Ole, he declined the offer. Instead, he dove headfirst into establishing his own company. In keeping with his credo, only the greatest is worthy, he was unwavering in his refusal to settle for anything less than perfection. As time progressed, news got out that his workshop produced high-quality wooden toys. A stranger in town went to check it one day, an importer from Fredericia, who was taken by Ole's wares. Prior to his departure, he made a sizable purchase with the intention of distributing them to several retail outlets in time for the Christmas season. "I think this year is going to be a nice Christmas," Ole told himself. Ole rehired all the people he had to let go during the Great Depression so that he could fulfill the order. They put in long hours overnight and on weekends to have the toys in stock in time. However, they were abruptly told to halt further action. What Ole meant when he informed Godfred, "We're in great difficulty," is that things are dire. The wholesaler sent Ole a letter explaining that because he had declared bankruptcy, he would be unable to get the toys he had bought from them. To put it bluntly, Ole was not a born salesperson, but he did clear out the playroom and stock up on holiday provisions. Though Ole's new company had a shaky beginning, he was determined to overcome each obstacle and make it successful. What impression do you have of the video up to this point? We would greatly appreciate your feedback. Hopefully, you're enjoying the content. If you want more videos like this one, remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's go back to the video. Even after 2 years in operation, Olay's toy company was still struggling to make a profit. To attract more clients, Olay came up with a memorable brand name Lego. He was influenced by the Danish expression leg god, which may be translated as play well. He found that the Latin word for I assembled was similar to Lego. Olay's innovation was successful, and the company now produces 42 unique types of toys. However, another catastrophe occurred after some time had passed. After Germany invaded Denmark, many people found themselves unable to make ends meet. What's worse is that it happened again. Unfortunately for Olay, his personal financial problems were followed by a fire that destroyed his workshop. His models and sketches were blown to pieces. Olay's optimism had begun to dwindle. After years of hard labor, he suddenly lost everything. But the thought of being accountable to his kids and employees pushed him to make a fresh start. After that, he always kept an eye out for fresh possibilities. Olay went to Copenhagen one day for a business convention. He found plastic molding equipment in that area. Manufacturers' search for low-cost alternatives during World War II prompted the creation of this novel product. Intrigued, Olay made up his mind to get one. Toy stores were shocked because they had always assumed that children would never want to play with anything that looked so cheap. Olay, however, was motivated by previously seen plastic toy. The product was sold under the name Kitty Craft, self-locking building bricks. Olay thought plastic toys had promise and set out to create his own. They were rebranded as Lego bricks from their former moniker, automatic binding bricks. Toy vendors were correct, alas. The blocks were difficult to play with, and children were not interested. They didn't snap together or stay together all that well. However, internal guidance urged Olay to keep trying. In the meantime, Godfred was found at a toy show in England. Troels Peterson, the center's CEO, was one of the people he met there. While lamenting the state of the toy business, Troels opened out to his friend, telling Godfred there's no system in anything. He continued to emphasize his point. There was no debate between Godfred and him. Instead, he paid attention and began to formulate ideas on how Lego might tackle the issue. We need to implement a system, Godfred told himself. All children have received our prepackaged answers. They need an alternative method of developing their creative faculties. Over the next few months, Lego gradually introduced the system into play. There were a total of 28 playsets and 8 vehicles included. It was built with the idea that each block would fit into the next and have some kind of connection to the others. A number of years later, Olay and Godfred had achieved significant development in refining the bricks layout. To make it possible for children to assemble the blocks without them falling apart, they invented a special stud and tube designs. Kids loved it, and business improved. However, Olay's health declined during the same period. Olay suffered a heart attack and died a month after the new design was shown. He died at the young age of 66. Godfred had taken over the business and was continuing his father's heritage. However, he would have to go through those same difficulties first. The same thing happened again with Lego 2 years after Godfred took change. Lightning damaged the company's wooden toy warehouse, starting a fire that quickly spread throughout the building. Godfred had to decide whether to permanently abandon wood or choose plastic. The second option appealed to him, so he went with it. This was not a simple choice. Disputes between Godfred and his brothers were common. Later, he bought them all out and became Lego's sole owner. In that year, Godfred made a decision to expand the company. He bought some property to the north of Billund and established an airport there. The objective was to streamline the trip planning process for Lego's international and corporate partners. Toys made by Lego were first brought to the United States only 1 year later. After that, Godfrey demonstrated he was more than capable of continuing his father's legacy by establishing a theme park and releasing guides and toys. In the early 1990s, LEGO had a near monopoly on the toy industry. The company's sales grew by double digits, but the sector's growth rate was less than 4%. At the turn of the century, they hit the sales milestone of $1 billion and started licensing their toys to popular franchises like Star Wars and Winnie the Pooh. LEGO is now the world's largest toy manufacturer, and its brand is more well-known than that of Hasbro and Barbie combined. That's it for our video today. So, what do you think of the stories behind the LEGO? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this content, remember to give this video a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe if you still need to. See you at the next one. And cut!